Okay, so this is Lynne Bailey. I'm the Elections Director in Richmond County, Georgia, and I'm sharing information with you today about absentee voting by mail and also about what voters can expect if they opt to vote in person during the June 9th general primary. First of all, let's talk about voting by mail. So first things first, in order to vote by mail, you must first apply for a ballot by mail. And so that is achievable by contacting our office and getting an application for an absentee ballot. Many thousands of voters in Richmond County, with every registered voter in Richmond County, should have received an absentee ballot application from the Secretary of State's office. But there was nothing magical about that application other than it was convenient for you because it was delivered to your home. So if you've lost it, misplaced it, or never received it, it's okay. You can still go to our website. You can call us. We'll mail an application to you. Of course, the Georgia Secretary of State's office also has applications available on their website. So the first step is to apply for the ballot. Once we get it, we're going to verify the authenticity of that application, making sure that the signature matches and the other information on the application that's required by law is present. Once we get all that information, we'll mail your ballot to you. When you get your ballot, you'll vote your ballot by coloring in the bubble beside the candidate's name of your choice. You will then take your voted ballot, place it into the privacy sleeve that's included in your packet. That privacy sleeve with your ballot in it then goes into an outer envelope that has a big yellow stripe down the front. You'll then seal that envelope and sign your name on the back where it calls for it. So once your ballot is returned to us, we go through a process of verifying the authenticity of your ballot. And one of the things that we use to do that is your signature on the back of your ballot. And that goes back to why it's so important that you sign that. Again, failure to sign the back of your ballot is going to slow down the process for you. So make sure you read the directions and follow them carefully. From there, you have several options to return your ballot to us. You can either put a 55-cent stamp on it and mail it, or there are now 4 different locations around Richmond County where voters can drop off their ballot into our absentee ballot drop boxes. Those 4 locations are the same 4 locations that we traditionally use for advance voting. And so the locations are the municipal building. The drop box is located just out front to the left of the main entry door into the building. At the Diamond Lakes Regional Park, the drop box is located curbside just in front of the Robert Howard Community Center. At the Henry Brigham Center, the drop box is located at just to the left of the entrance into the Senior Center. At the Warren Road Recreation Center, the drop box is located to the left of the main entry point into the building. So those are available. You do not have to put postage on your absentee ballot to use those drop boxes. The last day that we'll be mailing out ballots will be Friday, June the 5th. There's no need to wait. If you haven't applied for a ballot yet, go ahead and do it. The good news is the application can come to us in many forms. It can be mailed. It can be emailed. It can be as easy as filling out an application, taking a picture of it with your cell phone, attaching that to an email and sending it to us. So it can be as easy as you would like for it to be. And remember also that all voted absentee ballots have to be returned to us and in our possession by the time the polls close, which would be 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June the 9th. So you're going to want to make sure if you mail your ballot that you allow 3 or 4 days mailing time, because you never know, and that's a hard deadline. That June the 9th date is a hard deadline at the close of polls, and so we either have it by then or we don't. And if we don't, then we won't be able to count your ballot. So you want to make sure you plan for that. Lastly, I'd like to say to remind voters that here in Richmond County, all of our advanced voting locations are open as normal operating procedure. We began early voting on Monday, May the 18th. And so we're at the municipal building right now, and we'll be here only for the next 2 weeks at the municipal building only from 8:30 until 5 for in-person early voting. And then beginning on Saturday, May the 30th, we'll open up the other 3 locations, those being the Warren Road Recreation Center, the Henry Brigham Recreation Center, and the Diamond Lakes Regional Park Robert Howard facility. Those will open up on Saturday the 30th. Advanced voting will end on Friday, June the 5th. Now, if voters opt to come in person to vote, and mind you, we're still strongly recommending that voters get an absentee ballot by mail. But if you do choose to vote in person, there are some things that you should be aware of. Number one, we're requesting that all voters that come vote in person wear a clean face covering as they come to the polls. During the advanced voting period, voters who don't have a clean face mask with them will be offered one before coming into the voting room. We are going to ask you to sanitize your hands at the door. I think you should expect that it's probably going to take you longer to vote because we won't be able to have as much equipment in the rooms since we have to spread out the equipment to allow for proper health measures with the COVID virus conditions that we find ourselves in now. That combined with the fact that we are going to make an earnest effort to clean the equipment after each use, it is going to slow down the process. That's all there is to it. So be prepared for that. Vote by mail. Vote your absentee ballot by mail. That's a way to alleviate that. And one thing you should definitely keep in mind is that just because you may choose to vote by mail for this June 9th election, it does not permanently lock you into that as a voting option for you for every election. These are extraordinary times that we're in right now, and that's why we're asking people to vote their absentee ballot by mail. If you have asked for and received a ballot by mail, and you then change your mind for whatever reason, and you decide that you would rather go vote in person, it's critical that you bring your ballot with you to the polling place because you must understand that each voter only gets one ballot. And so before we can put you in front of a voting booth, you're going to need to cancel the mail ballot that we sent to you. And that process will go much faster for you, for our poll workers, and for every voter who's waiting in line behind you if you bring that ballot with you. But sure, bring it with you. We'll cancel it and we'll put you in front of a voting booth. Now, the same holds true if you don't have your ballot. There's a process in place to assist voters with that, to cancel it, but it is a much longer, more complicated process that could ultimately end up in your having to vote a provisional ballot at the polling place. And so my advice to any voter is if you have a ballot at your home, in your possession, vote it. Vote it and either mail it or use one of our drop box, turn it to us. It is the best, safest, most efficient thing to do at this point. Lastly, as far as voting in person, remember if you do come to vote in person, to observe proper social distancing. We ask voters to make an attempt to come to vote in person during off-peak times. Peak times are typically defined as from 7 to 9 in the morning and from 5 to 7 in the afternoon. Those are the busiest times, and we're trying to not have big crowds. So not voting during those times and spreading it out during the day, it would be a really big help and a step in the right direction.